What do you do for work?
Right now I have a company out in California that I started about 4 years ago that's technology based around parking.
Around parking?
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of that business?
Pavement, Pavement.
And what does it do in regards to parking?
So it allows people to predetermine where they're going to park before they leave. Where we have a peer-to-peer solution, we have a SaaS solution, so companies that are developers that want to look at options besides building, constructing parking infrastructure, we can customize a solution for them where they don't incur that cost.
And you've been doing that for how long?
4.5 years.
And what is your job title there?
CEO.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you were on your way to another strip center to pick up some jewel cartridges.
That's correct. There's a liquor store in the center across a little bit further east and across that sells jewel pods, and I buy my jewel pods from them.
Okay. What is the name of that place?
I don't know.
All right. So when you turned out of the parking lot at Chase Bank onto West Alabama, do you recall if it was one lane or two lanes right there?
Out of a parking lot onto a side street, off the side street on Alabama. It's 3 lanes. It's 1 lane each way with a center turn lane.
Okay. And when you turned onto West Alabama, did you turn onto the lane or into the center lane?
Onto the lane.
Okay. Do you agree that the center turning lane is used to turn? Is used as a center turning lane?
Absolutely.
And that you are not supposed to drive down that lane for some far distance for purposes other than using it as a turning lane?
That's correct. You're supposed to use it for a turning lane.
Were you using it as a turning lane at the time that this crash happened?
I was attempting to use it as a turning lane, and as I said, when I looked up and saw this car coming the other way, I had to take evasive action, so I just went back into the right-hand lane. But yes, it was. My intention was, and the use was, to turn left.
Had you been driving down the turning lane for, say, more than 4 or 5 car lengths?
You know, I can't. I don't recall how many car lengths I'd been using it for.
You don't recall that?
No, I don't recall whether it was 4 or 5 or 6 or 3. I wasn't using it as a. I wasn't using it in order to go anywhere other than into the center.
When you were in the center turning lane, did you drive through any intersections before this crash happened?
No.
Would you agree that if you did that, that would be unsafe?
I wouldn't do that.
And you have a driver's license, right?
I do.
And you passed the test in order to get that?
Yep.
And you understand that you're not supposed to use a center turning lane to drive through an intersection, correct?
Correct.
So you wouldn't have done that, would you?
No.
Do you know what the last intersection was before when this collision happened that you would have passed over?
I would have to see the police report. I haven't seen that in a while, so. You talking about the name of the streets?
Yes, sir.
No, I don't know.
And so I just want to be clear, you did not drive through the intersection of whatever that street was?
No.
From the center lane? So when you're in this center lane and you see this car coming at you in front of you, apparently you start to go right, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's a yes?
Yes.
So did you see my client's car to the right of you when that happened?
No. Your client was at that point behind me. And, you know, it was, quite frankly, it was just the only reaction I knew to do was to move in the right-hand lane.
Did you look in your mirrors to see if there were any cars that were behind you before you changed lanes?
You know, I honestly don't remember the answer to that question, but there's a good chance I didn't.
Do you agree that before you make a lane change that you're supposed to look and see if there's any cars there before you do it?
Under normal conditions, I would agree with that.
Do you think that you're excused from doing that under these conditions?
Yes, I think we avoided a much more dangerous accident. I avoided it by moving over. I think both of us, your client and me, would have been at a higher degree of risk if that car had hit me.
Why didn't you just stop?
Because the car was coming at me. Stopping would have just meant he would have hit me being stopped as opposed to hit me going forward.
So it's your testimony, if you wouldn't have just stopped, if you would have just stopped, then the other car would have surely hit you.
That was my belief at the time, yeah. I didn't want to try and find out.
I'm going to pull open the Google Maps that shows where this happened and have some questions for you about that.
Okay.
And this is Houston, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a Google map I'll represent to you. Does this appear to be accurate? Does it appear like I'm trying to pull a fast one on you or something like this?
No, I don't know.
Okay. And here you have, I believe, West Alabama.
Yep.
You see that right there?
Yep.
We have Shepherd, is that right?
Yep.
And then, let's see, this is the Whole Foods over here.
Correct.
So when you went to the Chase Bank, it would have been in this little area right here.
Yes.
And I'm going to go over here to the satellite view. So this is the Whole Foods, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you came over here to the bank?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then I guess this is the side street that you turned on off of?
Yes.
Okay. This is called Argonne Street?
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So as I understand it, you proceeded down West Alabama East, and I think that the crash happened in front of AKA Sushi. Is that right? And I believe that it was, in fact, a pole that you can actually see right here. Is that right? Or,
yes.
Okay. All right. So can you tell me, from looking at this Google map, about where it was that you got into the center lane?
Probably would have been right after this street here. I don't know what that is, but
Revere Street?
yeah, I would have moved in the center lane.
Okay. And you were planning to turn into where?
This center right here.
This one? Hold on.
No, back.
Back? This
There.
one?
Yeah,
Okay. You were planning to turn into this center?
correct.
And we agree that this area is where the crash happened, correct?
Yes,
So were you planning, I guess, is this the driveway back here?
correct.
Okay. So it's your testimony that you crossed over Revere Street while you were still in the lane of traffic, and then at some point between Revere and right here got into the center lane?
Yes.
Do you know about how long, like for how long that you were driving there in the center lane?
I don't think it could have been for, I wasn't going very fast, but I don't think it would have been for very long.
So I'm curious.
Because when I moved into that center lane and I looked up, that's when this white Suburban SUV, whatever it was, pulled out from the car that was coming, would have been in the westbound lane of Alabama, and started headed towards me in the center lane. Would have been somewhere right in here, just past that center.
Okay. So did you see the white car pull out from that center?
I saw the white car pull out in front of that car, and at the time didn't know whether they were planning on turning left, but when he passed that car and it looked like he was going pretty fast, that's when I knew I needed to move out of the way.
Okay. Now, we can agree that if you say that you pass over this intersection and the crash happens in this area, that you had gotten into the center lane somewhere in front of this parking lot that's on the intersection of Revere and Alabama. On here it says Persona Med Spa. That's where you got into the middle lane?
Yes. Past that, whatever it is, Revere Street.
Okay, so it was your plan to turn left down the street over here, yet you got into the center lane back here by Revere Street. Is that correct?
Not past Revere Street. Exactly where in between those Revere and that driveway, I couldn't tell you.
So, I mean, was it about how fast were you driving, you think?
Probably 20, 25 miles an hour.
Okay, so you're going about 25 miles per hour, maybe 20. You pass over Revere. You get over to the left turning lane, correct?
Correct.
And then almost immediately, I guess, is when this happens?
Yeah, I mean, I get over the left-hand lane. I look up because I know I'm going to have to turn left. I saw this white SUV coming at me, and I moved back to the right.
Okay. So
I wasn't in the center lane very long.
Well, I mean, it appears that if you're going 20 miles per hour and you go over Revere and you get to the center lane at that point where you are, you don't have a lot of distance really between there and where the crash happened, right?
No.
So that would mean that you probably weren't in that lane for very long. Is that right?
No, probably not.
Like probably just seconds.
I don't. Not very long.
Okay. Before you got into that lane, did you see my client's car behind you?
No.
Have you ever seen the video?
Have I?
I don't know. I'm going to show you a video.
Okay.
Let's get off the record.
Going off the record at 11:41 a.m. End of take one. We're back on the record at 11:42 a.m. Beginning take two.
Okay, sir. I'll represent to you that we got some video from AKA Sushi that shows this crash.
Okay.
And that's going to be attached. There's 3 videos, and they'll all be attached as Exhibit 1. Is this your car?
Yes. And there's the SUV.
Does that show the crash?
Yeah,
That's what happened?
looks to be.
All right. Let's back up just a little bit. You see your car, does it appear that you passed over Revere Street while you were driving in the center lane?
Yeah, it actually does appear that I moved past, that I was in the center lane when I got there. Yep.
So when you testified under oath just a little while ago that you didn't do that, that was incorrect, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remembered incorrectly.
That's what you remembered? Show you another video. It's your car again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the white car right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Now, you agreed with me earlier that you're not supposed to drive through an intersection when you're in the center lane, correct?
I did.
Would you agree that you should not have done that?
Yes.
Would you agree that you put yourself in the spot of going through that intersection on your own? There wasn't anyone else that forced you to do that?
That's correct.
Now, I'm pausing the video here at 36 seconds. This looks pretty close to the point at which you begin to turn into the right lane to change lanes. Is
Yes.
that right? And that's the white car that's in front of you?
You have to run it to make sure that, but it looks like it. Yes.
Does it appear like the white car might be trying to turn left into that same driveway?
No. That white car kept going.
That white car kept going after you ran someone off the road right there, correct?
The car kept going.